It is going to be a difficult day for Manchester City, but it is a bold team selection. Perry Suckling, an ever-present in goal this season. Among the defenders, left-back Clive Wilson has signed a new contract this week. Just two midfield players, Neil McNabb and the Liverpool fan, Steve Redmond, and four forwards with 19-year-old Darren Beckford providing central support for Imre Varadi, and David White and Peter Barnes attacking on a wider front. Well, after the FA Cup defeat at Old Trafford last Saturday, City's priority is certainly First Division survival, and their home form has lifted them out of the bottom three, 5 wins in their last 6 league games at Maine Road. Kenny Dalglish has trimmed his travelling 16 down to this unchanged starting lineup. Bruce Grobbelaar, of course, in goal. A back four which has seen Mark Lawrenson operating at right back for much of the season. 4 in midfield with Craig Johnston impressive in his 3 games since a back problem, and Kenny Dalglish keeping faith with Paul Walsh, though he's now gone 12 matches without a goal. Liverpool with a 9-point gap to make up on the leaders Arsenal, and they're 4 points down on the pace they were setting last season, when their points total was 46 after 24 games. It's a big day for referee John Watson, who's from Newcastle. He's in charge of a First Division match for the very first time. The end of what's been a frustrating week for Liverpool. A plastic pitch at Luton that they disliked last Sunday, then a perfect pitch but no opposition on Wednesday, and Luton's non-appearance still rankles with those in charge at Anfield. Manchester City back from Old Trafford, licking their wounds with groans about a disallowed goal and unavailing penalty claims. Clements. No great height in Manchester City's attack, but Beckford overcame the odds. And here's Wilson. Barnes. Mark Lawrenson beaten emphatically. It stayed in play, retrieved by White. And now it's behind, but Barnes giving the crowd something to discuss, and Mark Lawrenson something to worry about. He might have felt there would have been cover behind him, but Gillespie couldn't get there. Barnes was looking for players arriving at the far post from his viewpoint, and Varadi showed his disappointment because he thought it was overhit. It's a little bit of a surprise that Kenny Dalglish hasn't recalled himself for this fixture. He's done so well against Manchester City in the past. But the 7 shirt stays with Paul Walsh. And he tries to show why, and Suckling could not afford any mishandling. Walsh was just teasing 2 defenders that he might go down the line, and then he saw that there was room to go infield onto his stronger foot for the shot. Half an hour gone. Manchester City trying to lift the tempo. Wilson. It's all rather static in the middle. Wilson's attempt to provide something different for Manchester City failed on that occasion, but he made up for the error. Barnes. Every time he runs with it, there's an extra roar from Manchester City supporters, particularly those who remember what he had to offer as a youngster, which took him into Ron Greenwood's England squad. Wilson. And Verratti caught by Lawrenson. The referee has to adjudicate where. Verratti picking himself up inside the area, but the decision given just outside. It was cleverly played by City, who waited and waited, and Wilson rolled the free kick short to Verratti, and he took it on the half turn and fooled Lawrenson. McNabb with the free kick, but not yet. The referee presumably indicating that he wasn't ready in trying to get Liverpool to retreat the full distance. Gidman's come across to be involved this time. And it's his shot, looking for his first goal for Manchester City, aiming maybe for a small gap around the near post. It looked as though Grobbelaar had it covered. Molby, now Beglin. Walsh off on a run through the middle, and it's Gidman who's with him. And Walsh slips him, and Redmond, and looks to bend it. An effort of imagination. And he really just needs one to creep inside the post instead of fly outside, as this effort did, to get his full confidence back. Beckford, understandably feeling his way in the first 45 minutes, the first home match that he started in the First Division. Barnes finding himself on the right. Verratti. McMahon, lovely dummy, Rush. The pass, not what Steve McMahon wanted in return from Ian Rush. Right. Now Wilson. City still with their two wingers switched. McNabb. And Verratti's fallen, but Barnes can try the shot. The ball sat up rather awkwardly for him. Wilson. Now White. And Wilson impeded by Johnston. Always comfortable when the ball's at his feet, Clive Wilson. And now he has a chance to measure his cross. Beckford coming in. Grobbelaar got his fist to it as he was fouled. But it was interesting then that clearly the Liverpool defenders have left it for Grobbelaar, who was faced by two marauding opponents. In the end, they fouled him. Rush's speed gives Liverpool the option to play the direct thrust. Wilson. Verratti can turn. White to his left, and Barnes to the right, but no chance of that finding him. But it's been a well-balanced 45 minutes. Well, these days he's more the manager than the player, and some standards to follow after last season. Liverpool being pushed all the way here, and that reflects great credit on Manchester City. Verratti trying to take on Gillespie, and it's David White coming in! Agonisingly close. White came in on Liverpool's blind side because of Berardi's willingness here to occupy defenders by running at them with the ball. He stabbed at it, it was very difficult to take, and he did very well to come so close. This season Liverpool have been beaten away at places like Leicester and Southampton. So they have had their problems against teams in the bottom half of the table. McNabb, and Robillard made it look easy, but it surely wasn't. Not at all straightforward when it comes at chest height. Offering support in a wider position, and Redmond had his eyes on Berardi, who turned his back on him. Mulvey, Rush, now Whelan, it's Walsh to the left this time for Liverpool, and McMahon joining Rush in the middle. Walsh taking on Gidman but not beating him. Again, Liverpool look to use the short corner. And City slow to come out to Whelan. Oh, Wilson. McCarthy getting some distance into the clearance. But Manchester City were rocking because they lacked concentration at a short corner. Here's Walsh. Away by Gidman. Beckford. Ronnie Whelan was allowed to cut in and curl it, and I think it had beaten the goalkeeper when Clive Wilson headed it to safety. To turn and run at Manchester City, and he slipped McCarthy. It's a splendid run, and Whelan coming in to finish it, and he can't. McMahon went for Manchester City, and in the end it ran on to Whelan, who tried to side-foot it wide of Suckling and put it within the goalkeeper's reach. Flicked on by Redmond. His header now to McNabb. Beckford. City fans thought there was a push by Alan Hansen and Darren Beckford. Walsh, and Clements missed it. McMahon inside Rush, and the pass was just behind him, and that helped City. The linesman is flagging, it's a corner. It was gone behind before Clements retrieved it. Gillespie coming in with interesting timing, but he jumped underneath it. And this is Peter Barnes, a thrilling break. Berardi is in the clear, a chance for City. Wasted. Liverpool were trailing in the wake of Peter Barnes. Barnes saw Berardi, but the key moment is Berardi's first touch on the ball. It bobbled from him, and it should have been a corner. Lawrenson. when City looked that they might win the game, Ian Rush, it seems, has taken it from them. Lawrenson splendidly found by McMahon, and the best striker in Britain doesn't miss from there. There are 17 minutes left, but Manchester City will argue that there should have been a corner at the other end. Incidents match his turn, and they've turned here away from the home side. It's a Liverpool throw, but certainly looking at that incident again when Verratti was away, the final touch was off the Liverpool defender. Gidman. Now White. It's an excellent ball from Gidman. Manchester City not finished yet. Neil McNabb to take the corner. Both Clements and McCarthy forward. Here's McCarthy. Trying to squeeze a pass out to Moldy. White, Verratti. Maybe the shot is on, and it was a good one too. Hit low and true by Imre Verratti. Was down behind it. Liverpool have had some thumping victories on this ground in recent seasons. Prior to the goal that Clive Wilson won the match with in this fixture last year, Liverpool had scored 20 goals here in their 5 previous visits. Won all 5 matches. It's been a different sort of victory today, if victory it's going to be. McMahon and Walsh! He's aching to get on target again, but he's done enough here at Maine Road, surely to keep hold of that number 7 shirt. And the cross was a splendid one, a header directed just wide. Walsh, Mulvey, it could have been 2, maybe should have been. Manchester City understandably losing a little bit of their discipline in the quest for an equaliser. But on the bench they'd like a second goal, I'm sure, as an insurance factor. Gidman. Verratti. McNabb. And Grobbelaar had read his mind, was already making tracks across the goal. And Wilson won it splendidly. would have been his moment of glory. And maybe City's last chance. Something of a make or break opportunity for him to play in this match. And so close to the Liverpool goal, the header went flying wide. McCarthy out skilling Ian Rush, and this is Berardi. Barnes, the cross not deep enough. There were 6 City players beyond Steve McMahon. Rush has kept it in. Lawrenson springing ahead of him and ahead of McCarthy. Suckling is beaten, and so is the far post. And just when you think Liverpool are hanging on to a lead, they produce a move of class and great perception that really deserved the second goal. Johnston. Walsh in the middle, and Wilson refusing to be passed. Not again. Barnes. One from him by McMahon. Rush. Liverpool will be happy just to keep the ball at that end of the field. McMahon. Walsh with a tap in, no, even at the last he can't get his goal. And here's McNabb. White stretching the legs, but Hansen was already there. 3 points for Liverpool on a ground which has been full of pitfalls for other First Division visitors recently. The goal from Ian Rush after 73 minutes, adding to Manchester City's anxieties, but they will wonder as to whether the play should have been at the other end and City should have had a corner from their previous attack. It hasn't been vintage Liverpool over the last couple of months, but they continue to chisel out the results to keep Arsenal and Everton on their toes.